Hello there, Ray here, and we are back here on ProtoTech, and today I want to go over all the craziness that occurred during our 24-hour live stream. So if you guys didn't know, on the 31st of October during Halloween, we did a 24-hour live stream where we were here on ProtoTech collecting up rare mobs, as one of the goals on ProtoTech here is to collect every single type of rare block, entity, as well as item in the game, and make farms that allow us to do this more easily. And what we got behind us is our lightning farm. If you're not sure what's all going on with the lightning farm, I'm not going to explain this video. I do have past videos that go into more detail what it's all about, which I will put down in the description. Now, lightning farm is still running. We're still trying to go after those Protection 8 diamond helmets, and I will give you a progress update on those as well later in the video. But during the lightning farm, I cannot really move too far outside of the farm, so during the entire live stream, we were pretty much restricted to a very small area where we could work, as if we move outside this area, then the lightning will move into a different chunk, and the lightning farm won't work as we intended. So we're kind of limited to this block here, this block here, and this block here, and going that direction all the way up to that ladder there. So pretty much all the guys here were working in this very small area, but we can move up and down vertically. So as you can see, we have a bunch of stuff set up here to catch different types of mobs. Now the sound of lightning gets pretty annoying, so I just turned it off. But you can see the farm normally will allow the horses to come towards the center where the player can whack at them with a sword and then drop them straight downwards. And this is where they go all the way down and hit the ground down there. And then they also, if they don't die from the fall damage, their items get destroyed with some lava way down at the bottom there. So what we did is we added on some pieces of redstone to kind of allow it so that we could sort the mobs and take them into different spots and kind of look at them a little bit more closely. So right here we have a place where we put a pressure plate, and this is going to allow us to operate some of the blocks that are over there. So what we have is a little slit that we can let the mobs out through. So if I go down here and I remove these slime blocks that we have here, those are just to prevent them from sometimes falling to the side. So now this opening here is only being stopped by this gate here. So if we open this gate up, then we can let the mobs come through over to this side. So inside we also have another gate that is currently being opened, so they can drop straight down. But what we can do is go over here and turn this gate from being open to close. So the gate is right in there, and it's currently being powered. So if I just unpower this, you see the mobs sit here for a little bit and then they get opened up and dropped again. I have to move out of this area, otherwise the lightning's all being sent over there. So with this opening here, as well as some redstone that holds them there, we can kind of let them sit there for a little bit, and we can see if there's some type of mob that we find interesting to keep, and then we can move it over here to the side. Now, as you see over here, we're currently keeping a lot of guys that have iron helmets, but once in a while you'll see a guy that's wearing something different, such as like gold. So typically every single type of horseman would have an iron helmet that's always enchanted, as well as a bow that's also always enchanted. But because of the way the game is coded, it will allow the skeletons to get armor twice. So they will get armor once, and then they'll get armor applied to them twice. So the first time they get their armor applied to them, they can get like their iron helmets because they are horsemen sitting on top of horses. And the next time they'll also get the same type of armor that a normal skeleton would get. Therefore, it's possible for one of these skeletons to have two different types of armor on them. This is typically not possible in the game because when the game chooses the armor for these guys, it will choose one piece, and once it knows that type, it will apply it to the entire rest of the skeleton. So because of this, you'll never see like a zombie that's wearing like iron helmet with like a gold chest plate or anything like that. And this is only possible because of this bug that is in the game that allows this to occur. And this also allows it to get Protection 8 helmets off of these guys as well, because it puts the enchantments on them twice as well as doing their armor twice. This allows us to get rare types of skeletons which typically cannot get in survival. But during Halloween, something different happens, because Halloween there is a 22% chance that every type of undead mob will be able to get a pumpkin on top of its head, and there is a 0.25% chance that it will have a jack-o'-lantern on top of its head. So this is only during the 24 hours that it is October 31st, and because of this, it is quite rare to actually come up with these type of mobs with different combinations. So what we did during our 24-hour live stream is collect rare types of skeletons that are riding skeleton horses, and the skeletons would have a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern on their head with a type of armor that they're wearing, and we try to go for full suits. So we would sit here and look through all the different types of skeletons, and once we've seen a group of skeletons that might be something we want to look into more, we would hit this button here. This would push them off to the side, and what we have over here is a large kind of Pez dispenser which can hold mobs, and as you be able to push in more mobs, the other mobs will just go down one level. So we can see we got our batch of mobs here, and then if we hit the button again, they would be moved down one level. So let's say we want to grab another one, then we could come over here and we'd hit this button here, and then these guys would move down one level and then make room for the next guys. So we can hold about 30 different sets of skeletons. Each set has maybe 25 different horsemen in there, so we can have close to like 2,000 entities here at any given time. So the server could run kind of slow if we're running the lightning farm and we're also having this entire thing full. It was pretty crazy, but surprisingly the server did actually pretty good while having this thing run full blast, while also having all the other people online trying to help out with this. Now the lightning farm stopped right now because the way the lightning farm works, it will be lightning on our server for about 12 minutes. And then there is 10 minutes where it's going to be clear, and then it's going to switch back over to 12 minutes of lightning and just keep repeating. That's using our RNG weather manipulator, which is over on top of this and into another dimension. So during the time that it was lightning, we did mostly pulling the mobs out of here and moving them down there. And then once we had this downtime where it was clear, we would move down these ladders and go to each of these levels and try to sort out the ones that we find desirable. So you can see there's a lot of guys here, and there may only be a couple that kind of interest us. So let's say we see some that have pumpkin heads or jack-o'-lantern heads, then we can come in here and try to pull them out. And we would also want them to have a full suit of armor. So what we have to do this, we have a fishing rod, as well as Kika made a whole bunch of axe that have Smite 5, as well as Unbreaking and Mending. And we just put our fishing rod in our offhand and have axe here. Now we don't want to directly click on the whole batch of skeleton horses because it's possible that one of the skeletons is missing. Therefore you would ride that skeleton horse because skeleton horses don't need to be tamed. You can immediately ride them after the rider is removed. And we don't want to do that because once you go inside, they're all going to start shooting. It's going to create a big mess. So what we would do is kind of click off to the side here, and then the rod, once it is thrown, the bobber is going to attach to one that's nearby, and then we can just pull them, and then we can kind of see, like this guy here, you can see that he just has iron helmet on here. He's not wearing anything too special. Then we just have to pull him one more time, get him a little closer, and then we can hit him one time with the axe. And since it has Smite 5 and we also have like a strength beacon here, then we can kill the horse. Now, these horses are different than like the horses that came in 1.9 and 1.10. These horses have exactly the same amount of hearts, and this is something that they changed in 1.11. Prior, the skeleton horses had a wide range of different amounts of hearts, but now they all have exactly 9 hearts, and this may be considered a bug, but it prevents you from getting like those old skeleton horses that had 26 hearts. Now you can see what we were trying to go after over here. We're trying to look for a horse rider that has a full set of one type of armor, as well as a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern head on. So this guy is pretty cool. You can see he has a jack-o'-lantern head as well as a full suit of leather armor. It looks like all the pieces are enchanted as well. And as always, their bow would be enchanted. Now typically, their helmet is always enchanted, but since they are wearing a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern head, because the game cannot place these inside of a enchanting table, they do not get any enchantments applied to them. But that would be really cool if they did. Now, because the lightning farm is so fast, we end up getting tons and tons of these horsemen, and it's very difficult to sort them. So we would mostly just pull groups out that look like they had tons of pumpkins and jack-o'-lantern heads, and also had a lot of armor. And that way, overall, there would be quite a few, and be a higher chance of us getting something special like this guy over here. It's not too slow to sort them with fishing rods. You just, like that, pull them twice, and then hit them once, then pull the next one twice, and then hit them once. So it can be pretty fast. There are so many different variations of these types of skeletons as well as horsemen that you get to see quite a few different ones, and it kind of keeps it exciting. As we did do this for 24 hours straight, you would think it would get kind of boring, but every time we find something interesting like this guy here, then it made all the sorting all worth it. So we ended up going through a lot of fishing rods while trying to sort these guys off, and we actually have a scoreboard that keeps track of it. If I do !B.fishing rod, this will show all the fishing rods that we depleted. And as you can see, there is quite a few of them. Most of these were broken just during the sorting of this. And I got over 630, and I pretty much started out with 0. And the thing is, you can go through quite a few different uses of them, because every time you pull a mob, it'll take a huge chunk off. Here you can see there is 24. And then if you use it on a mob, like right there, You see, it went from 24 all the way down to 19. So there it took 5 off just for trying to pull a mob. This is different than like trying to fish up something where it would only use up 1. Here's a good example of one of the skeletons that has 2 different types of armors on him. So you can see he has gold type as well as iron. This typically would never happen in the game. You can also see in the background, looks like we might have accidentally picked up a zombie that spawned over there on some of our wiring. And he happened to spawn with a pumpkin head, so that's kind of funny. Even though it's after the Halloween event, he's still sticking around. So when we did come across one that we like, let's say we're going to try and keep this gold guy, we built some chambers here on the side to house the ones that we want to keep. So we got some guys there that we kept as well. And what we want to do is we want to move him into here without disturbing the other skeletons and not allowing him to see us either. So what we have is this area back here, which we use to do that. And it's kind of tricky, but you have to kind of stand on the back end of this. And we would knock out these blocks. So knock out those blocks as well as these blocks. And then we would throw a fishing rod in there. And first it's going to grab these items. So we can always pull these items towards it. Next thing we're going to grab is this guy here. And we'll use our fishing rod to pull him over into this chamber that we have made for him. Now we leave the chamber and all we have to do is plug up the hole that we have made. So we just pop a little hole in here. And then we can come in here and try to place down some glass so that they don't interfere with other ones. Now it's kind of weird, but there is kind of a weird bug to do with the skeleton guys. When they are on top of a horse, then they rear up. Sometimes this guy can clip into the wall and take suffocation damage. So we kind of want to make sure that there's glass all around him. And I think he should be good. We typically would knock out some of the slime blocks here as well because we don't want him to suffocate. But you can see that he is now in one of these containers and he is safe. And we can also put him on display. Now, just because there is a nice guy that has like a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern head on, as well as a full suit of some type of armor, doesn't mean that he's actually particularly rare. Because a pumpkin can be given to mobs that can wear pumpkins. Even like villagers can have pumpkins on their heads. But during Halloween, the pumpkins are only given to undead mobs. Except for like the Wither as well as like the Phantom. Those are both undead mobs, but they don't have pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns during Halloween. So seeing one like this guy who has a jack-o'-lantern head, you know that he's from Halloween. But the armor could be given to him because just because he has a jack-o'-lantern head, he could also have a special NBT tag which allows him to pick up armor. So maybe someone just gave him a bunch of enchanted armor. So what we have to do next is we would have to go into each of these guys and give them something that they can pick up. Now skeletons will automatically drop their bow and pick up a sword because they like swords way better than their bows, even if the sword is pretty stinky like this one is a wooden one. So what we'd have to do is break a hole in here and then throw the sword kind of back to the far side, and then we would see if he pick it up. And if he can pick it up, that means he's not a guy that we want. Because if he does pick it up, that means it's possible that the armor could just been given to him. And although this doesn't really take much away from him, it's kind of cool to collect guys that you know aren't going to pick up armor. Because maybe later on when you're moving them, you'll accidentally have maybe a helmet sitting around, and then he'll pick up the helmet, and then he will lose his lantern helmet. Or he'll pick up some other piece of armor and he'll lose his nice outfit here. So you can see this guy doesn't pick it up because we went ahead and we went through all these guys and tested them. Now these guys will pick up the swords, so we kept them all around. So now let's go through the entire list of all the different guys that we have collected up during Halloween. So the first guy here, you can see he's a pumpkin guy and he is in full leather. And as always, his bow will be enchanted, so this can be a typical theme. But you can look for right-handed versus left-handed bows. So they typically would have right-handed, but 5% chance that it would have a left-handed bow. This guy doesn't have any of his leather enchanted, so he's a pretty basic guy and a nice way of showing off that you got something from Halloween. Now the next guy on the list is quite a bit more rare because he has a jack-o'-lantern head, meaning that it is only a 2.5% chance of him getting that, compared to like a 20% chance of getting a pumpkin head. He also has full leather, which is also enchanted, and his bow is in the right hand. I think we only have maybe one guy. We'll have to look. But this guy here, you can see he's in full armor. He also has a pumpkin head, and you also see that he has an enchanted bow. It is also on the right. But I think it's kind of cool. The iron guy looks probably one of the best, being on top of a skeleton horse, which is also kind of whitish color. That also made it kind of hard to sort him because when you're sorting, you're looking at a lot of skeletons and bone colors, so it's kind of hard to see if there's any iron in there. Every time we did see iron guy, we did try to pull him off to the side because we were hoping that we would get one such as this guy. So going down the list, we have another guy here. You can see this guy is wearing some chainmail, but this guy being in full chain is pretty awesome. You can also see that it's enchanted. He's wearing a pumpkin head, and he also has his bow Chain overall looks pretty cool because Chain is one of those armor sets that you just don't make normally in survival because you have to get it from like villagers or killing other mobs. So it's really cool to see a full set of them with also a festive Halloween head on top. Now next guy is the guy that we just pulled across. He's a full gold guy. And then if we go down underneath him, we have another leather guy. Of course, having guys with full enchantments is more rare than having a guy with no enchantments. We did go through quite a few different diamond guys. As you can see, here is one of the diamond guys. Let me just replace this. That was just a marker we used to indicate that he didn't pick up any swords. But this diamond guy here is just one of many. We had a total of 29 different skeleton guys that had diamond on them during our 24-hour live stream. I cannot believe that. But yeah, we definitely did not keep all 29 of them. It was just way too overwhelming. And we weren't even going after these type of guys. We were going guys with pumpkin as well as jack-o'-lantern. And we can get these guys any time of the year. It's just the pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns that you can only get during Halloween. So we were keen to try to go after these and not waste too much time on this guy. But this is one of the first ones that we collected. So we set him aside over here. As you can see, he's in full diamond gear, which is pretty crazy. And most of the guys that did come through that were diamond ended up having full diamond gear, and only maybe 3 or 4 had ones that were just partial sets. So let's go down the list, and here there is 2 of them, and they both jack-o'-lantern headed ones. This one guy is in full enchanted leather with jack-o'-lantern. This guy here is a jack-o'-lantern, and he has, I think, 2 pieces of gold. I think the guys just wanted to keep them either way. And he's missing the chest plate, but both these guys are pretty cool because of that. They both have the bows in the right hand as well. Now as we go downwards, you can see we got a full gold guy with a bow as well as pumpkin head. And these seem to be the most common type of sets that we were getting. The full gold with either a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern. So next one down the list is another leather guy with a pumpkin head. And I think we have another one right here as well. These guys, like I said, were pretty common. And then down here we have some more guys. This is a set of some diamond guy as well as a leather guy. So the leather guy has a pumpkin head on. Now the diamond guy has full diamond. I think this is just the second guy that we kept that has full diamonds. It just became too tedious trying to keep them all. But I believe all of his armor set is enchanted. And I think that's why he might get kept over the other guys. Now, as we go downwards, you can see here we have a really nice guy that I was so excited to find, and the other guys were very excited as well. You can see he has a jack-o'-lantern head, as well as having full enchanted chain gear, and he also has a left-handed item. Now, he actually had a bow in his left hand, but as we came around to test them to see if they would pick up items, you can see that he picked up a sword. This is kind of a bummer because it could be possible that you just gave him the chain armor, but we kept him anyways because he is left-handed, full chain enchanted gear as well as a jack-o'-lantern helmet, which means he did come from Halloween, which is cool either way. But you could go ahead and give him like some other type of sword, maybe give him like an iron sword for decoration or something. You can always upgrade a sword, but you can't downgrade it. So going downwards, we have some more guys. Here is, looks like a set of gold as well as iron. So it looks like we do have another guy that is an iron. Both of them have pumpkin heads. Next up, we got 2 gold guys. Looks like they both have partially enchanted gold, and they look almost like twins. That's pretty crazy. We did try to keep some extras in case we want to put them in a different place, put them on display. Underneath them is a fully chained guy with a pumpkin head. Looks like maybe not all these pieces are enchanted. The boots as well as the pants seem to be enchanted. And underneath him we have another guy that is in gold, and then we have another guy that is in partial chain. Underneath him we have another gold guy, and the last one down on our list is a full gold guy with enchanted bow. So we found out that getting ones with jack-o'-lantern heads was extremely rare, as well as getting left-handed. And getting both of those on a single mob was extremely rare, and we only have one of those guys that's up at the top that has that sword. So as you guys see, we got some leather guys, we got some iron guys, we got some chain guys, we got some gold guys. What we did not get is a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern head guy that is also has a set of diamond armor. Out of all the 29 different sets of skeleton guys that had diamond pieces, none of them had it, so they had a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern head on top of them. Like I said, most of them were full sets of diamonds, such as this guy and other guys that we showed. Once in a while, you had a guy that had like the pants or boots and had like an iron helmet, but none that had a pumpkin head. So that was unfortunate. We couldn't get one of those guys. We were really keen to pick up all the guys that had some piece of diamond on them, and I don't think we let a single one go through during the entire 24 hours, which is pretty good. But the nice thing about the diamond guys, it was really easy to see them as they were coming through the system. because they stood out like sore thumbs with their diamond pieces. Compared to like the other guys, the leather and the gold guys, there were just so many of them, you couldn't really tell one from the other. To get a diamond guy, you would have to see approximately 10,000 different skeletons before you would just get one of them. So we're pretty lucky just to see 29 of them over 24 hours. Now, although the farm is quite fast, as it will approximately produce one skeleton trap horse every 2 game ticks. This means in every second we will get exactly 10 of these skeleton trap horses, but then every time they open up, there's going to be 4 horsemen on there, including their steeds. So we're going to end up with 40 skeletons and horses to go with them every second. So because of this, it is pretty easy for us to reach those numbers and see quite a few diamond guys per hour. Getting these rare mobs is quite exciting, as we had to go through tens of thousands of these guys just to find some of these different variations. Now, just so you guys understand how rare it is, once the game chooses to put armor on top of something like a skeleton, there is like a 37% chance that it'll be leather, and like a 48% chance that it's going to be gold, a 12% chance that it's going to be chain, and iron's only a 1% chance, and diamond is a 0.04% chance. So extremely rare to get diamond, and you can see the other probabilities kind of fall into the same kind of range as we've seen in our display here. But there's some things that we can do to increase the chance of us getting these rare mobs, such as having the server on hard. This will allow that once the game does choose a mob to have armor, it'll allow that mob to have more pieces of that armor. So if it was an easy mode, there would only be a 42% chance that a guy like this diamond guy would have 4 pieces of armor. But in hard mode, there is a 73% chance, so it's much higher. But in hard difficulty, there's also a higher chance that mobs can pick up items. So like on easy, there's like a 1% chance that they'll pick up an item, and then on like hard, there's like a 20% chance. So the chance of a guy picking up loot can be between 6 and 55% chance on hard mode, and then him having armor is between 1 and 15% chance. So you see those statistics are quite low. Now the armor being enchanted is a percentage between 6 and 50%. So let's figure out how rare this guy is here. So he has a jack-o'-lantern, which is a 2.5% chance. He's left-handed, so that's another 5%. And then for him to be able to pick up items, as he did, he picked up that sword. The highest possible he can get is a 55% chance. And this depends on the difficulty. And the local difficulty depends on how long the game's been being played, as well as how long the chunks have been occupied. But there are caps, and both those have been capped up. So only real change is also the moon phases, which is added onto that, and moon phases change. Then there is, best scenario, a 15% chance that he will be able to spawn with armor. Then for him to choose his armor type, there's only a 13% chance that his armor is going to be chained. So if it was like diamond, it'd be like a 0.04% chance. So that percentage goes down quite low if it would be diamond versus like the chain. Now there is also an 81% chance that he will come up with all 3 pieces of chain armor. And then each of those armor pieces has a 50% chance that they will be enchanted, best case scenario. So if we add up all these different percentages, this is the exact percentage of getting this mob here. So you can see it is a 0.00013% that we will get this type of mob in the game. So it's extremely low. So that means the chance of getting this guy is 1 in 10 million. Now if any of my math seems off, please tell me down in the comments. And as you guys can see, the score is quite high. We're over 700,000 skeleton horses killed, which is just absolutely insane. And I think it's going to be pretty crazy to reach the 1 million mark. Most people don't hardly see like 7 skeleton horses to kill that many, let alone kill 700,000 of them. And we also want to take a look at all the loot that we're getting down from these guys, as like I said, there's a chance for them to come out and spawn in with some diamond armor, and then if they die by player means, then there's a chance, about an 8% chance, that they will drop some of their pieces. So we go down here and take a look at them. Oddly, every time the player whacks at the whole group of them, only the ones he actually kills with the sword are counted towards the scoreboard. Everything else is not counted. So even though he's considered to be killing the whole group of like 25, the game's only going to really like increment it by 1 or a couple at a time. But down here is our helmet sorter, and we got a skeleton that managed to fall down here while we were doing the sorting of the other guys. But yeah, you can see them dropping, hitting the ground, and then you can hear the dispensers dropping off the lava, destroying all the items. You can look down in here, you can see them hit the ground, items, and they all get destroyed. And then we route all the items over here to this chest. So let's take a look at all the stuff in chest. Holy moly. So these are all helmets that we got off of the skeleton guys, and we have a helmet sorter here that is sorting them. And I kind of explained how the helmet sorter works in a previous video. So here you can see all the different types of helmets. We got quite a few. A lot of them have kind of mediocre enchantments, but here you can see one that has 2 different types of protection. And this is what we're looking for. Using the mechanics that we discover, it's possible for us to get like 2 different types of like projectile protection 4, and this will actually add up to protection 8. So you can see we've got quite a few different ones. You can also see some bizarre ones like having 2 affinity. Now these don't actually help you. Of all the different types of enchantments that you can get in the helmets, the protection enchantments actually do double up and help you get more protection in game. So there's a protection 4. So if you had another protection 4 on top of that, that would be pretty awesome. For the most part, a lot of these are going to be mediocre ones. Here you can see with 2 blast protections. Here with 2 normal protections, just 2 different types. Here's 2 different fire protections. And for the most part, they're not going to be high levels because the game chooses between level 5 to 21 in an enchanting table. So those are the only things you can get. So it's not possible for us on a diamond helmet to get 2 protections that are both level 4. We can get 2 projectile protections which are level 4, which will add up to being level 8. And also the helmets have quite low durability, so if you would have one of these, you would want to get it to be repaired. You can either do that by putting it in an anvil, or getting it repaired by putting mending on it. The problem is if you have 2 of the same type of protection, when you put mending on it or try to repair it, it will remove one of them. So a helmet like this, which is pretty cool, it has a projectile protection 3 as well as projectile protection 4. Putting these inside of an anvil and then putting mending with it would make you lose one of them. So having this type of helmet is extremely rare, but it is not ideal for survival. What you would want is probably one that has like protection 3 with projectile protection 4, some combination like that. That way you can put mending on it and also repair it, as well as put your other protections onto it like aqua affinity and respiration. So I think this is one of the best helmets. Let's put it aside. We also got this helmet here. This helmet goes into the sorter up above. We'll have to fix that. You can see some of the other ones. Pretty decent. This guy has low durability. Like I say, you get a wide range of different ones, and getting the best one we want is going to be very difficult, as these also have a percentage of getting really good ones. Getting some of the best types of enchantments for these helmets is extremely rare. Earth Computer ran a simulation on 1 billion helmets, and I'll tell you some of the outcomes of what type of enchantments could come from them. In his simulation, he tested the highest levels of each of the protections. So normal protection could go up to level 3, and so can fire. But then the projectile protection as well as blast protection can go up to level 4s. So out of all the different types of protection, the rarest variation is having 2 blast protections. And in his simulation, he only got 23 out of 1 billion. So some of the other different combinations aren't as rare, such as having a double protection 3 helmet is a chance of 2 million in 1 billion, which is still pretty rare. But you can also try to go for like a protection plus projectile protection, which is 3 million in 1 billion. But having one of the more cooler combinations is having a blast protection plus a projectile protection. That way you can get both of them to be level 4s, and you also can get the mending on it as well as unbreaking 3 on it. So getting that type of helmet would be only 12,000 in 1 billion, so that's going to be quite rare to get that one. Plus it's also one of the more useful ones. If you would want to get 2 normal protections that are both level 4, you would have to go for gold helmets because they don't exist in diamond form, and that would be the best type of helmet to actually have in survival, would be a protection 8 golden helmet. And the gold helmet is still better than the diamond one, even with the 2 extra toughness that the gold armor give you. But getting this type of gold helmet is extremely hard because you would have to sort out gold helmets as well as diamond ones, which would be quite challenging. Plus, it's only a chance of about 15,000 in 1 billion. If you'd like to see Earth Computer's results, I will put in the description a link to his pastebin. People do ask me if it's possible for other types of the armor to have double enchantments on it, and this is not possible as the other pieces don't typically come with a trap horseman. So when the game spawns in a horseman, it's always going to put an enchanted helmet as well as an enchanted bow. So none of the other armor pieces will be double enchanted, but the bows will be. And the bows are way more likely to be enchanted with double enchantments than the helmet. So if you wanted to, you could get some very weird looking bows with double enchantments, but those double enchantments don't actually add up together and help you anyway in survival. The live stream was a lot of fun, and a lot of ProtoTech members also came on and helped out with the event. We had Nudicus, ZeroX, Land Mining, Respawn, Craft Mechanics, Excellior, Nordy, Kika, Melon, and we had some other fellow streamers come by and say hello, such as Grimly, another fellow streamer, and even some special guests, such as Rock and Roll for Life, which is one of the Minecraft developers. And it's really nice that it was going over 24 hours, so I seen a lot of you guys I normally don't see because of when I normally live stream, it is kind of late. So you guys were able to hop in and say hello, so it was great to meet some of you guys. And if you guys would like to see the full 24-hour live stream, I will put a link down in the description to it. I didn't include any of the live stream footage in this video because some people did not like the video having live stream footage in it. Tell me in the comments if you think I should add bits of the live stream footage that I sometimes do into these videos, or if I should just kind of do a summary video and not really show what we did during the live streams. If I don't show the live stream, you're going to lose a lot of the interactions that I have with other ProTech members. You won't really see them. I personally like some of the highlights of the live stream videos because there's a lot of funny interactions between me and the other members, as well as other funny things that go on when we are live. Also, you guys probably noticed that my skin has changed. This is my Halloween theme skin that was made by KK. It is pretty cool. It has like half pumpkin, like half bones, and like you can see part of the interior of me as well, which is pretty crazy looking. So now that we captured some of these very cool mobs, we're going to have to think about trying to transport them all the way back to our island, which is quite far away as we are currently out about 8,000, 7,000 out. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well as challenging. But I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching as I have fun in survival. Bye-bye!